Hello and welcome to another USACO Bronze problem. In this video, we will be going over contest 1 December from the 2015 to 2016 season, and the second problem, speeding ticket. Problem is like this. So Bessie, always the troublemaker, has stolen Farmer John's tractor and taken off down the road. The road is exactly 100 miles long, and Bessie drives the entire length of the road before ultimately being pulled over by a police officer, who gives Bessie a ticket for exceeding the speed limit, having an expired license, and operating a motor vehicle while being a cow. So Bessie concedes that the last two tickets are probably valid. She questions whether the police officer was correct in issuing the speeding ticket, and she wants to determine for herself if she has indeed driven faster than the speed limit for part of her journey. So the road gets divided into n segments, each described by a positive integer length in miles, as well as an integer speed limit in the range from 100 to 1 to 100 miles per hour. And as the road is 100 miles long, the length of all n segments will add up to 100. And Bessie's journey can also be described by segments of m. And during each segment, she travels a certain positive integer number of miles at a certain constant speed. And the sum of all the segments of m also add up to 100. And Farmer John's tractor can drive 100 miles per hour at its fastest. And given the information, we need to determine the maximum amount of speed over the speed over the speed limit that Bessie travels during any part of her journey. So input is like this. So n and m, and then first line is n and m, and then next n lines describes a road segment, determining how long it is in the speed limit. And then the next m lines after those n lines gives us two integers describing the length that of a segment that Bessie drove and the speed that Bessie was driving. And then we need to output how much over the speed limit Bessie drove, and if she never did, output 0. So they give us a sample test case where first the segment is 40 and the speed limit is 75. And then there's a segment that is 50 and that is 35. And then finally we have one more segment of length 10, and that has speed limit 45. And Bessie drives like this. So Bessie drives 40 miles at 76 miles per hour. And then she drives 20 miles at 30 miles an hour. And her last 40 miles are at 40 miles per hour. And as we see, this part, she is ahead by 1. This part, she is under by 5. At this part, she's over by 5, and at this part, she is under by 5. And the maximum amount that she is over the speed limit is 5 miles per hour. Okay, so now to code. Okay, so basically, the simplest way to do this, or at least one of the very simple ways to do this, is to just for 100, where array 100 long, where that's the speed limits, and an array 100 long, that is how fast Bessie is driving. We can just determine what their speed was at each position. And given that, we can determine how much the maximum Bessie was over the limit. And that will be implemented. So first thing we do is we declare input and output. And then on the first line is N and M. And then now we can declare their speed, which will be 100 miles per hour. And sorry, not 100 miles. It will be length 100 long. and this length 100 long will give us their speed at each mile along the way. And by doing that, we can then compare it. So, and there is a last variable, so we can determine exactly where the last segment ended and where to put our new numbers in. And then after we have done that, this gives us the speed at each mile that Bessie was traveling. Sorry, the limit of this mile speed was, and now we can do it for what Bessie was traveling. And finally, we just need to determine how fast over the speed limit Bessie was when she was going the furthest over the speed limit. And after we have done that, we can try something. Okay. 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 Now that I've just logged in. Sorry about that. And now we submit speeding ticket. Okay, so we have an error on line 35. Oh, that's because we did not reset fast. And as you see, it works. Thank you for watching.